My name is Waina. I'm from Belgium. I currently work at Google, and I did my MBA at IESE in 2020. I worked a lot in startups in my career, some very successful, some that I launched myself, some that I failed. And after all this, I became an independent contractor in IT. So I had my own clients, and I was working the digital nomad kind of life, which was really interesting. But I felt that I was hitting a wall, and I really wanted to experience the corporate world and join a large tech company. And I thought that an MBA was probably the quickest and most certain way of achieving that goal. What made the difference is I visited the campus, so they invited me for an interview, and like the people I met there were really nice and really were curious about what my plan was and what my ambitions were and where I wanted to go and things like that compared to other schools. Let's be honest as well, like the price tag was definitely a positive compared to like other American programs I got accepted into. And yeah, eventually I grew fond of kind of the ethical part of the IESE MBA that they try to bring into the program. So all in all, that really ticked the boxes for me. The MBA is really pushing for taking like human and ethical solutions to problems we're facing. So in every case, in every aspect of the MBA, obviously, you have the financial aspect and the growth and financial success that you're supposed to get out of any transaction or any project. But it really puts the emphasis on doing the right thing, and I think that resonates a lot with kind of myself. The first startup I worked at was bringing electricity to rural communities in East Africa. So it's always have been at the back of my mind to bring impact, even though this company was selling and it was a really kind of like market-driven organization. We also had the ambition to electrify the energy less, and so this impact side of the MBA was really important for me. Initially, I really wanted to get out of the entrepreneurship side of things, because I had many projects on my own prior to the MBA, and this is really not something I wanted to pursue. Like my goal was really to join a large tech company that I thought was inspiring. But I think there's a lot of classes about entrepreneurship that were super useful. I took a bunch of them because it's a passionate topic that I really every day I think about new ideas, and so I couldn't just miss it. So I took a lot of classes about this. There's lots to be learned as well. I think one of the most interesting, or the most aspect of entrepreneurship that I didn't really know about was the entire VC and how VC operates and how they make money and how they choose to make their investments. And so that was a really interesting kind of eye-opening thing. Also, so basically at the end of my MBA, I was hoping to go back to my internship employer, who was Google, but pandemic hit, so headcount was really weird, and it didn't happen. So I went actually back to create a company, because there were no jobs, and I had worked on a prototype during business school, during my MBA. So I really leveraged the school. I talked to lots of professors. I got into the Angels Network. I leveraged the alumni network that helped me and referred me to go into Techstars. So all in all, my venture post MBA was more successful than any other I created before. And I think it's because I learned a lot during the MBA. It's because I created I had a network of professor and alumni, and just support from the school in general. So as I didn't really want to go back into entrepreneurship, but I went back into it a little bit forced because of the pandemic. And IESE was really a big support in every stage of it. And I still keep close contact with all the professors and alumni that helped me during this project. So, yeah. I work in the cloud department or organization of Google. So basically, I work with and I advise startups on their cloud strategy. So what products should they be using? What strategy and what kind of, keeping scale in mind, what would be the right choices for them to make. But we're also giving them resources. So we're basically giving free credits, free money for startups to host their applications on the cloud, and we're giving them support to make sure it happens really well. And then at the same time, we also create events and try to organize a community around these different programs, so entrepreneurs can interact with each other, but also really leverage all there is to take from Google in terms of startup help. So this is a little bit, in short, what I do. And this is probably 70 to 80% of my job. And I think on the 20% left, it's all about managing and improving our own operations, right? So we manage our funnel of startups that are coming. We are trying to understand how much they're spending, how quickly they grow, and how to help them drive this growth and create more value. So in terms of I help them and how the MBA serves this, so I think it really helps on the 20% part of improving operations of our own teams. So looking back on marketing classes to really manage a funnel, on operation classes to understand what comes in, how long a startup stays in the funnel, and how to make that more efficient. In terms of, I think, venture capital and financials, so how do these startups receive their money, and how they're spending it, and how much runway do they have, and how we can help them extend it potentially. So I think this is one of the many topics that the MBA helped me. I think there's a big part of the MBA also that teaches you a little bit of the power dynamics and the influence you can have in large organizations. So I come from startups, so this is very new for me to be in a large organization. But some classes like power and influence, notably, or leadership, help you understand those dynamics, how to put yourself forward, how to kind of advance your career. And so this was definitely very helpful. It's really about making you well-rounded leader. Like, I know it's kind of a bit of a buzzword, right? But this really comes with different aspects to it, right? I would say the first one would definitely be communication. So there's a lot of public speaking classes, lots of to make sure you can communicate in front of audiences, bring points, and you have public speaking classes, but I think the fact that you have to your communication during classes is rated as well. So the professor count how many times you actually interact during the classes. So that also kind of helps you and drives you, put your opinions forward, have opinions, and not be too afraid of judgment from your peers and professors. So that was definitely helpful. I think there's the leadership piece where they put you in teams, and basically we have different projects during the year, and you have to understand the dynamics, how to manage your team members. You have to take the lead on some of the projects and manage everybody else. There's all these classes that are a little bit more academic, but still that try to make you understand what motivates people, how to motivate them, how to, drive your employees or peers to actually achieve your objectives and help you in this way. And I think the leadership, kind of power and influence would go together. So I think these are the two main. I was going to go three because the consulting world teaches to do in three, but I can only think of two right now. Another class that really kind of was really cool in that aspect was the storytelling class. So lots of leaders, there's a big storytelling. Like, this to make a good leader, you have to be able to tell stories and engage your audience and things like that. And part of this class was crisis management. So we learn how to address the media in terms of crisis. And so we had workshops, and we had to pretend to be journalists or CEOs of companies. And our company would have like some major spillover or really serious accident, and we had to like talk to the media and mitigate those crises. And I think that's also really interesting, because you learn how to, even though you're supposed to do the right thing, sometimes the company you're managing or does something wrong, or there's an accident, and the way to respond also engage potentially thousands of workers, and a good leader knows how to do this appropriately and sincerely, which was really a good definitely a good experience. I mean, Belgium is a very small country, so there's not so many alumni, but when I visited the campus, the organization, like, the recruitment or whatnot, they made sure I met some of the Belgians that were there. So it was really nice to know that there was other people out there. So clearly IESE cares about, having those communities. In Barcelona, I think it's still huge. Like, I was surprised. I was back in Barcelona a couple of weeks ago. I was so surprised how many people stayed or actually returned after a while, because they love it so much. So the community of IESE alumni in Barcelona is really big and great. Like, every time I go back, I meet them, and I have still lots of great friends there. In terms of abroad, so I live now in Dublin. We have a pretty strong community. We have a WhatsApp group. We try to meet every month. Some of my best friends here are IESE alumni. Actually, one did a meme. She's in my team now. I'm gonna get lunch today with some random IESE guy who reached out to me. So it's really interesting how large this network is, and obviously, we have like this paid for mentality. Then someone's asking you to meet, like, you obviously say yes and you meet. So in terms of, I'm just going to tell more of these examples, but I was invited to a panel at IESE 2 weeks ago. So I went to talk about my experience at Google and what I did post MBA and things like that. And some students reached out to me. We went for coffees. We met each other, and I tried to give some advice, and I learned from them as well. I think this is part of the deal, right? Like, we're here to help each other, and every time somebody reaches out, I try to meet them. I've been interviewing candidates as well. I try to give back this way, right? And I wrote a blog at the time I was at the IESE to kind of document a little bit about the experience. I was surprised lots of people or lots of prospective candidates currently still read this, even though it was, a few years ago. Some reach out, we have a coffee chat. Like, like, do the right thing, be nice. I think is the motto, right? I think you can also rely on these to refer you to jobs. So yeah, as long as it makes sense, I think most people would be happy to refer you to the company they work at. I know lots of people that do it, and next time I have to look for a job, for sure I will also leverage the network. And with all the people you meet, I basically know people in most companies that I can reach out to, because IESE is big, and you have the year above us, the year below you, and for sure you'll end up connecting with someone you know.